Good morning and welcome to Optical Grammar School BBC School Report 2017. I'm your anchorman Arjun.
And I'm your anchorwoman Tyler.
Our first report will be taken by Kiva and Jeevan. It will be about grammar schools, their funding and the government's future plans for education.
Hello Arjun. The Education Secretary, Justin Greening, has argued that selective schools will decrease the gap between the rich and the poor and allow students to achieve their full potential. The head of Ofsted, Sir Michael Wilshaw, has criticised this by commenting that grammar schools and other selective schools only boost their results by allowing pupils that are expected to do well to attend. The Conservative government's budget was released a few days prior to the Education Secretary's conference, and there have been a surge in complaints from both grammar and public schools. The Association of School and College Leaders interim leader, Malcolm Trobe, has said that some head teachers were looking to close their schools earlier on some days of the week to save money. The Shadow Labour Education Secretary, Angelina Rayner, told the BBC that the Tories had made corporate and capital gains tax cuts to the detriment of our education system. We asked pupils at Upton Court Grammar School what they thought about this, and we found only 10% of them agreed with the Tories' policies on grammar schools. Here is what they thought.
How do you think the learning here differs to state school?
I think here it's more competitive and people, it's very based around like exams and stuff. They don't really get to
What is your opinion about cutting education funding?
I don't think it's a good idea. Like, they want us to get great education, but, they want us to get good education, but if they cut the funds, it's not going to help.
already grammar schools using so if they cut
Have you seen videos where?
same thing as you guys said, you can't really expect them to grow like education-wise if you don't have to
Hello. Today I am joined with Ms. McCowery, who has kindly agreed to answer a few questions for us. Firstly, why do you think that the government is going to support selective schools over non-selective schools?
Well, I think the results of selective schools have been outstanding for a very long time, and I think they're a very popular option, particularly in the southeast amongst parents. But ultimately, the reason why I think that the Conservative government are doing it is partly out of ideological reasons as well. It's a particular agenda that Justin Greening has been pushing for quite a long time. And it's also very popular with the grassroots supporters as part of the Conservative Party. On the other hand, also the results for grammar schools have been improving, have been doing really well. So maybe they want to include that success in and give that to a wider part of the country.
How could the cuts of 8% education funding by 2019 impact our school?
As a cultural teacher, I can't say absolutely everything, but I can maybe just talk about it from my perspective. So, if you cut, that amount of funding, for example, you still have to pay for the rising cost of teachers' salaries and teachers' pensions because of national insurance contributions. But it could also be, because of inflation, you're also paying for a rising cost of the goods that we use, so all the sorts of resources, not just the ones you think of normally when you think of schools, like pens, pencils, paper, all that sort of thing. But it could also be to do with electronic programs that we use. It could be to do with education software, and catering, all of those sorts of things. The cost of everything is going up. And schools are not being given extra money. They're actually given a real-time cut of 8% by 2019. So I think, in the end, that is going to affect things. So, for example, if we wanted to put on more trips, or we wanted to subsidise trips, we wouldn't be able to do that. If we wanted to buy more resources or buy a certain type of textbook, particularly when they change the exams quite often, then we're not able to do that as much as we would like to. So it is a problem, and it's something that will I think, be quite an acute issue in the years coming up for all schools as well, not just grammar schools.
Do you agree with Justine Greening when she says that more grammar schools would make the gap between pupils with a more fortunate background and pupils with a less fortunate background shorter?
Okay, over the issue of income inequality, I think that is, for that particular issue, education is something that should solve that income inequality. What's happened in a lot of schools, particularly in the South East, particularly in London, over the last 10 years, is where there's been extra funding that's been put into schools. There's been a leadership structure there too, where you've got head teachers who are able to share resources amongst themselves and able to kind of work independently of government. But at the same time, you have educational charities like Teach First or the Intelligent Club or whatever it might be. When they're there able to support the development of schools and education, where it's seen as a funding priority by the government and by other people, then that's where success in education comes from. And that will do wonders for reducing the equality gap. I'm not sure if it's the type of school, the type of pupils, but I think every pupil needs to be in a situation where they can learn, and where there won't be any partition between them and other people according to how well they do, particularly in one test at the age of 11. So, but we have grammar schools, we have comprehensives, we have private schools, we have all of these different types of schools, and I think ultimately the government should concentrate on funding those schools properly and solving the teacher recruitment crisis before they start thinking about experimenting in other ways of building schools.
Thank you for your beneficial insight on this topic today. That's all for now.
Thank you very much.
Next, we'll be passing on to Yosha and Neha, who will be asking students and teachers about how the new GCSEs has affected our school.
Hello and welcome to the BBC studio, where today I'll be interviewing two students at Upton Court Grammar School, Miss Miranda and Miss Neha, about what they think about the new GCSE specifications. So let's start with you, Miranda. How do you feel that the new modules have changed from the previous modules?
Well, I don't really know what the previous modules were like, but I think they're probably a bit harder. I think, especially in geography, we're doing some stuff that were in the A-level spec, but now it's GCSE.
That's interesting that you mentioned the A-level spec, because in fact a lot of subjects now have new sort of material that were previously included in the sixth form modules. So, Neha, do you feel that your progress is clearer for you to understand with the new number grading system, or do you feel that you preferred the letters?
Well, I would say it's going to get some time to get used to, because obviously you can't go around telling people, oh, I got like 9 on my GCSE. They're going to be like, what are you on about, So that's one thing that's probably going to be like a problem for us, but it's only going to get some time for everyone to get used to it.
Between the both of you, which actual specification do you prefer? The old one or the new one?
I think personally I probably prefer the old one is easier, and also I like the A*A system. I think it's easier to understand, because if you were to say, oh, I got an 8, some people who don't know the spec might think that 1's the best and 8's the worst, whereas with I don't know, it's like
A*,
A's
just like
A* is the best, and E, it's really obvious that that's the worst.
One thing about it, we don't have many past papers to look at for questions. That's the only problem with the new spec.
Thank you very much for your input on the topic. And
Okay, so we're here with Miss Vix to talk about the changes of the new GCSE and how it has affected different subjects, for example, for language and French.
So, Miss Vix, what do you think about the changes in the GCSE?
Bonjour! The EFFA department is very excited and happy about these changes. Finally, students will become competent language learners with genuine language skills, and no more control assessment, for example. We'll have all their final exams at the end of year 11. In the past, students used to have multiple opportunities to improve their grades, which we found ridiculous. Coming from a French background, we only had one shot at the exam, and it was either pass or fail, and I think it would make our students stronger. And I think the exams will be more in line with the rest of the world. So I think that's great. And we already feel the students have a better understanding. They respond and answer to questions and can communicate more spontaneously. What I love about the exam is that it is unpredicted. So you don't know what you will get until the big day.
Do you think there are any disadvantages of that?
Disadvantages? No, I think it's those changes, especially for our languages, are definitely for the best. We didn't like particularly the old exam. It didn't prepare them well, so we are 100% happy with these changes.
And how do you think it's affected the students? So, like, has their test grades gone up, or have you seen a change in their learning?
Yes, we're definitely very positive about our cohort. Our students choose the language they want to study at the end of year 7, and with our current year 8 and year 9, we are definitely seeing a lot of progress already, and the understanding, as I mentioned before, is a lot better.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, merci.
Good morning, I'm Yosha.
And I'm Neha.
And today we will be reporting on mental illness topics nationwide.
There was a girl called Grace, which our story is inspired by.
She's 16 and she claimed that she was bullied for 9 years of her life due to her mental disability.
This has caused her to move schools twice.
And we would like to raise awareness of this through our report. So let's move on to where I interview a welfare member from the school.
Go.
Good morning, this is Yosha reporting from Upton Court Grammar School on the issue of mental health in schools. With me here is Mrs. L. Good morning, Mrs. L.
Good morning.
According to a Comres poll, 70% of 11 to 16-year-olds have experienced negative feelings through the past year. Why do you think such a young age range of people experience this?
I think these days there's lots of pressure on young people, not only academically and in school with grades and all of those pressures that come, but socially there's a lot of pressure on young people to be what other people expect them to be something that they don't know how to be, and I think that creates a lot of feelings of people being unsure of who they are or how they need to be.
Okay, in relation to this, research conducted over 700 teachers have concluded that almost 3/4 of staff would often or occasionally worry about their pupils' well-being. How do you think this affects their education?
Hopefully here, I think what happens is that teachers will come and talk to me and they will tell me if they're worried about something or somebody, and then we can put in all sorts of different support, and there's lots of things available for young people these days. So hopefully here in this school that's what they would do.
Okay. Now, do you think schools need to offer more support around nationwide? Do you believe schools should have more placements to help pupils with perhaps some mental disabilities to make their school life easier? And if so, what would you like to see improvement in?
I would like to see a general improvement in the people talking about it, people talking about mental health and well-being. We talk quite a lot about physical health and well-being and eating your 5 a day, although it's gone up to 10 a day now, I think, and exercise and all of those things. We don't talk so much about our mental well-being. And if our mental well-being isn't good, then our physical well-being is never good. So that's what I would like to see.
So you've highlighted quite some essential points there, talking about how we need to raise more awareness about mental illness, and we shouldn't really just regard it as something quite of a small matter. And thank you very much, Mrs. Earl, for your input. This has been Yosha reporting from Upton Court Grammar School with Mrs. Earl on her thoughts on mental health.
The next report will be with Jeevan about term time holidays.
Hello, I'm Jeevan. Today I'm here with Mr. Sanders, who has kindly agreed to answer a few questions for us about his opinion on term time holidays. Firstly, how do you feel about children going on holidays during the school term?
Well, I understand that parents will find it much more expensive if they go during the school holidays, and I feel their pain because teachers have to take their holidays at those times as well, because the price is up. But missing term time, particularly in exam years in secondary school, has a massive impact on how well students do in school.
Does this affect your lessons in particular?
I think it can. if there are people who disappear off for a week or two, it takes a long time for them to catch up. I think particularly in GCSE and A-level years where it's difficult material and they might not have a chance to catch back up, it makes life a lot more difficult for the students as well.
Did this make the whole class be behind because they have to wait for the other person to catch back up?
Well, I think when it might happen, and it's really happening here, but if it might happen, the onus has to be on that person to catch up. I don't think it's fair on the rest of the class that works.
Mr. Platt's response was that his daughter still had 90% attendance after the holiday. Do you think this is reasonable?
Well, 90% sounds like a lot, but that's the equivalent of losing half a day of school per week over the course of the year, which is actually pretty bad and having an impact on how well they do. Studies have shown that it slides even 95% is lower than I think it would be.
Do you think it's fair that Mr. Platt and his daughter were made an exception to the fine?
Well, I think it's a tricky thing because it will change the rules now. They've been made an exception because they decided to take it to court, and everyone in the UK has the right to take any government decision or local council decision to courts to get a different decision. And so obviously that might change with different councils and different schools do.
If the Supreme Court decides to Mr. Platt, they're going to change the policy so that children with 100% attendance can only go on holiday in the last 19 days of the school year. Do you think this is fair?
Well, it does make sense to a certain extent, but I imagine that the holiday companies will instead just put the prices up for that time for those people taking holidays. And I suppose what we might want to do instead is actually look at what holiday companies are allowed to do and not do in terms of charging sometimes almost twice as much simply because it's a holiday.
So what would you do if you could change it?
Well, like I said, I think that's what I think we should look at is why holiday companies feel it's appropriate to dump their prices. And yes, it's to do with competition between different people and so wanting to go holiday at the same time, but I don't think that's fair on parents with children and indeed on teachers.
Thank you for your time. That's all for